The first come from behind win in the ninth inning for the Brewers this year. Got to go back to August last year, the last time they did that. Also, it was Willy calling his shot. We'll get to all this coming up next here on this edition of Locked On.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Wow. All I could say is, wow. I was so disappointed for most of the night on Tuesday night. The Brewers got off to a 2-0 lead. Royals came back. Frelick misjudged the ball. 4-2, Brewers trailing. 5-3 going into the top half of the ninth inning. First two guys make out, get out. I'm about ready to turn on the NBA. Put a guy on, put two guys on, and Willy Adames goes Yahtzee and hits a 3-run home run. Wow. A 3-game skid. Brewers about ready to head to their fourth straight, and Adames wakes up the echoes by crushing one to left field for a home run. Oh, if houses around Wisconsin didn't explode after that like mine did, I don't know what it would take, but that was the best moment of the season so far. That was the best moment. Willy, down 2 runs, hits a 3-run shot. On top of it, just down 2 runs going into the top half of the ninth inning with nobody out. I don't remember the last time the Brewers did that. I'm sure somebody could tweet at me and let me know when the last time the Brewers, if they ever remember them, being down multiple runs with 2 outs in the top or bottom of the ninth inning to rally and win a game. I honestly don't remember. And maybe I'm losing my mind, but man, when our team is dead in the water like that, down 5-3, put 1 guy on, put 2 guys on, and then hit a 3-run blast to win the game. McGill got the 3 outs in the bottom half of the ninth inning, but it was so cool. I didn't even introduce myself. Chuck Freeman, Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, on all the major downloads. And, of course, a growing YouTube page. Search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell that alerts you every time we drop an episode here on Locked On Brewers. This episode brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors, over 122 million parts to choose for your ride or die to keep it alive. All the parts you need at the prices you want. Easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive. ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available to U.S. customers. All right. Yeah, I was so excited to get into this that I almost forgot to introduce myself. But man, that was just such a good win tonight. They're struggling. Colin Ray did not make it through 5 innings for a first time this year. They blow a 2-0 lead again. Okay. And it looked like they were going to head to another loss. And they come back and win and maintain that first place tie with the Cubs, who won their game in the ninth inning on a home run. So they're all tied. The Cubs were losing on a game, rallied, and ended up winning the game. But yeah, Mike Vasallo from the media relations director with the Brewers. Yeah, first time trailing after 8 innings. And the last time they had won a game when trailing after 8 innings, August 5th of 2023. Well, I believe that spans like 29 games or so, 29 losses in that. So they snapped that. Just amazing. Lane Grindle, if you get a chance, the play-by-play voice of the Brewers, if you get a chance, his play-by-play call is on Twitter. Just Google it. It's on there somewhere, or Twitter. Just search for it on Twitter. It's on there. Great call by Lane Grindle on that 3-run blast. Levering had an excellent call as always too on TV. So catch both of them, Grindles or Levering. It's both good calls that are floating around out there on social media. And it'll bring goosebumps to your. It did to me. I'm still just hours later, just ecstatic over that victory. You know, you hit a game-winning home runs are always cool, but I think there's something special when you do it on the road. When you do it on the road, you know, the other team crowd is up trying to get Willie to strike out, and you know, he hits the 3-run home run. And on top of that, Willy Adames pulled a Babe Ruth. He pulled a Babe Ruth, and I'll tell you about that coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Good to have you along, Brewer fans, and DoorDash is the way to go for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up on Thursday. 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 or more on your next flour, convenience, grocery, retail order on DoorDash. Whatever it is, Mother's Day, maybe you got a little get together. You want retail sent over, groceries sent over to your house. You're cooking, you need something. Hey, go to DoorDash. They'll help you out. 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 or more dollars. You got to take advantage because mom, hey, you know, mom's out there, done a lot for us when we were kids. Take advantage of this to send mom. Maybe your mom is in a different town. Take advantage of sending her a gift this Mother's Day. Want to make mom smile? She'll love it. She'll say, oh, you don't have to give me anything for Mother's Day. No, you don't need anything. And then she'll think you're not going to get her anything, but DoorDash will deliver for you and they'll come through. Get all your Mother's Day gifts in one place. 50% off your next order, up to $15 when you spend 15 or more on flour, convenience, grocery, or retail orders. Now, use that promo code LOCKEDONMLB. It's LOCKEDONMLB. Using DoorDash today, terms apply. This is Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, and we are coming right back. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host here on Locked On Brewers. Day game coming up. Quick turnaround, afternoon game coming up on Wednesday in the final game on the road before the Brewers come home on Thursday when they take on the Cardinals at AmFam Field. We'll tell you about that and who the Brewers have on the mound coming up here in a little bit. But Willy Adames had been bantering with some fans near the dugout. Good-natured bantering. There were no swearing and there was no bad-mouthing each other. Willie had a good-natured back-and-forth take with the Royals. And the Royals, these fans were glad that they were chiding Adames because they pitched around Willy Adames. They walked Gary Sanchez to get to Adames. And, oh, yeah, Adames is our guy. You gotta go up there, Willie. And Willie turned around, was trash talking. He said, hey, basically, you better not be asking me to step up to the plate because you're going to regret this. He turns to the dugout, Willie does, and says, watch this. Turns to the dugout, says, watch this. And then he goes up there and hits a 3-run home run. Willy Adames to the Brewer dugout, and the fans by the dugout, who he was bantering with, called his shot. The fans, they were good-naturing, saying, yeah, we want Willie up. We want Willie up. Yeah, Willie will make the last out. And Willie steps to the plate and hits the 3-run dinger. Wow. Called his shot. And when I say Babe Ruth, that famous pitcher at Wrigley Field, I believe the 1927, he did this when Ruth was pointing towards center field. Allegedly said he was going to hit a home run towards center field, stepped out of the batter's box, pointed to center field. Now there's some rumors that, stories that maybe that wasn't true, that he wasn't calling his shot, but certainly there's some play-by-play calls of it. And there was no video of it at all, obviously. But 1927, Babe Ruth called a shot, said he was hitting at the center field and hit a home run to center field. Not quite like that for Willy Adames, but when he turns to the bench and says, watch this, after the dugout had heard him, Pat Murphy in particular had heard him bantering with the guys, with the fans, the Royals fans. And then Adames comes back and gives those guys high fives through the screen, the metal screen that's around the protective screening. So Willie sends the Brewers to a big win in Kansas City. And now they'll move on and try to get a split in this 6-game road trip. They lost 2 of 3 in Chicago, 1 tonight after losing on Monday. And you know what? If you split, you go 3-3 of this road trip. That's great. I'll take that. You would love 4-2 or 5-1 and of course 6-0, but I'll take a split. I'll take the split in this series, in these two series. You got coming home and play St. Louis. Yeah, we'll take the split. Got to get this game though behind Joe Ross. We'll tell you about that coming up here in a bit. Oh, Trevor McGill, 99. He closed it out in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1, 2, 3. He was filthy. Got him for nothing from the Minnesota Twins. And he has been terrific out of that bullpen. 6'8" coming at you. 99. Trevor McGill. Never give up on a guy who's 6'8", I would say. That would be never give up on a knuckleballer and never give up on a guy who's 6'8". Trevor McGill. Top of the order coming up for the Royals, and he mowed them down. Colin Ray did not have a very good start, as I mentioned. He had been pitching so good, but the first game this year where he did not make it through 5 innings. All right, we come back. We'll talk about Wednesday's game. That's coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day, sponsored in part by PrizePicks. NBA is going on with the playoffs, Major League Baseball. It's your chance to win up to 100 times your money with PrizePicks. You can take a look at the world's best players on any sport, and you look at what they're going to do, and you say more or less on what they're going to do for the game. Pick that, multiply them by a couple, and you could win up to 100 times your money. Very easy to do. It's in 30 states around the country, PrizePicks. So whatever you want to do, test your skills. If you like a certain matchup on a certain day, couple 2 or 3 of them together. If you have a player who registers 2 plate appearances or less, well, they will not count that as a loss. If a player gets taken out early, you're going to have some protection against that. So you're not going to get taken to the cleaners. They offer Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits into your account. Also, they offer weekly promotions, special offers for the biggest moments in sports. Download the app today. Download it. PrizePicks. PrizePicks, download the app and use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB for the first deposit match up to $100. Download the app, promo code LOCKEDONMLB, first deposit match up to 100. Maybe like our guy Reese Hoskins to go yard on Wednesday, like he did early in the game on Tuesday night. Him in the second inning, and he got him batting 6th again. And then Ortiz hit a solo shot. So they went back to back on that. The show is also brought to you in part by eBay Motors, telling you a little bit about the eBay Motors earlier. Passion, drive, and patience, the formula for winning championships, also keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors, this guy down the street swears by it. Everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. 122 million parts for your number one ride or die. You'll find exactly what you're looking for with a guaranteed fit with eBay. So your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because at eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. All the parts you need, the price you want, easy to make your car the MVP and bring home those huge wins. ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. We're coming right back here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman, your host here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. I was just talking about the broadcasters a little while ago. I'm telling you, got some good broadcasters broadcasting this game. You know, Brian Anderson, of course, when he's there. Jeff Levering, been doing a lot of the TV with Lane Grindle on the radio call. I don't know Josh Bauer a lot. I don't really know him. We're getting used to this. Is his second year. Does a solid job. I feel like I always, when I turn on the game, I always hear Grindle, but Grindle's call was really good. And again, Levering's call of the home run. But I thought, I'm Grindle, Levering, Vinny does his homework. I've always said that. I think Vinny, when he's on a road trip, man, he's spending most of his hours in that hotel room studying tendencies and all that, man. You learn a lot. And, Tim Dillard as well. Tim Dillard, he adds a little comedy relief in there and his knowledge, whether he's with Watson over on the panel or wherever, really, really good. Of course, Bill Schroeder, the veteran rock, is always really, really good. As you notice, he's cut down his games, the number of games he does. But Vinny and Dillard on the analyst role, just marvelous. And we got great play-by-play guys as well. So the Brewers are in good hands with all their broadcasters. Solid all. And the Brewers have always had really good broadcasters. Because look at some of these guys. Some of these guys leave for other jobs, bigger markets and all that. Why? Because they're good. Because they're good broadcasters. Joe Ross was really good his last time out pitching for the Milwaukee Brewers. He pitched last Friday against the Cubs, gave up a home run to Morel, and that was it. It was a scoreless tie when he gave a home run to Morel, bottom of the sixth inning, and that was great. Ross has pitched a couple of games like that, not so good in his previous start before that against the Yankees. But again, I was on radio in Janesville today, and the Bill Michaels Show, which is statewide. I'm on a few different radio stations during the week, talking Brewers baseball. They have me on representing Locked On Brewers. And, I keep getting asked, is this bullpen, this starting rotation, when are they going to make a trade? Is it going to hold up? Wilson pitching how he is, how's he going to hold up? Yeah. The pitching staff, as much as we talk mostly a lot about the pitching staff, about, are they going to pick up an extra pitcher? But the pitching is not really the problem right now. It's the offense. Although they scored 3 in the ninth inning on Tuesday night, the pitching staff is holding in there. It is. Bryce Wilson, Joe Ross in his last start. Colin Ray didn't pitch great tonight at all, but he had been pitching very, very good. And the offense, like we talked about, the offense picking up the pitching. And that's what happened tonight. The offense picking up the pitching and getting the 3-run blast from Adames. That's what you need. Because you can't be expecting to win these games 2-0 and 2-1 and 3-2 all the time. Once in a while, hey, they lost 5-0 to the Cubs on Monday. They come back, win 6-5, or on Sunday. They win 6-5 in this game. They score 6 runs. Very good. They battled in that game on Saturday against the Cubs, but they were already down, 4-5-0 already. But Joe Ross going to make the start. It's going to be a 1:10 start. 1:10 start from Kauffman Stadium. Royals still use the old school jerseys too, with the script across, the old Royals jersey. I think I have one from the 80s, a George Brett jersey. 1 year, 1979, George Brett flirted with 400. And he batted 388, I want to say, maybe 390. But he was that was the last real hitter to flirt with 400. My parents, for my Christmas present, I was like 10 or 11, got me a George Brett jersey, which I still have. It's a little tight. I don't wear it, but I still have it. It's in pretty good shape, but that's like 40 years old right now. Over 40 years old, that is. If I got that in 1980 or so, absolutely. But the Royals, what I was trying to say, the Royals still wear their old school jerseys, which I like. The Cubs have changed a little bit. They still wear the Cubs pinstripes, the Yankees, of course. But I don't think there's a need to be changing uniforms all around. I think one day when we have a little time, we'll talk about the best and worst uniforms in Brewers history. Because my favorite Brewer uniform in history, 1976, 77, those powder blue jerseys that the Brewers had. Their teams were bad, but I love the powder blue. And then 1978, they switched to the pinstripes, the Brewers did, and they started winning. Bad through the first 7 years of the franchise with the powder blues and the Brewers across and the home jerseys, but I still like it. I still like the jerseys, even though it reminds me of 90 lost teams that the Brewers had. But those powder blues of the mid-70s were fantastic. Well, that's going to do it for the show today. Quick turnaround again, afternoon game. Hopefully Joe Ross will give us a good one. And we'll be right back here talking, maybe early evening on Wednesday, talking Brewer baseball with you. And the Brewers and Royals wind it up with the Cardinals coming in beginning on Thursday. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Again, you get us on Google, Spotify, Apple. We're on all the major downloads. Please hit us up on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. That'll alert you for every episode we drop here on Locked On Brewers. So long, everybody.